Welcome to Silent Psychology. This is not a loud channel. This is a truthful one. Have you ever smiled at someone while feeling completely empty inside? Have you ever said you were fine when everything in you wanted to say the opposite? Have you ever looked at someone who seemed perfectly happy and wondered if they were pretending too? Most people walk through life wearing a mask, not a physical one, an emotional one. And the strangest part, they wear it so well that even they forget it's there. But the mind remembers, the body remembers, and slowly, quietly, the mask starts to crack. This video is about the signs, the ones people hide, the ones most people miss, not because they're invisible, but because we've all agreed not to look. We believe happiness is obvious, that if someone is truly unhappy, we'd know, we'd see it, they'd tell us. We believe unhappy people cry, they withdraw, they stop functioning, they ask for help. And when we see someone going to work every day, laughing with friends, posting on social media, taking care of responsibilities, we think they're fine. But that's the illusion. Unhappiness doesn't always look like sadness. Sometimes it looks like productivity, like keeping busy, like never stopping long enough to feel anything. Sometimes it looks like humor, like being the one who always makes others laugh while carrying something heavy inside. Sometimes it looks like silence, not the peaceful kind, the kind that's learned, the kind that comes from realizing no one really wants to hear the truth. We've been taught that happiness is loud and unhappiness is obvious, but real unhappiness is quiet, it functions, it smiles, it shows up, and it suffers in silence. Because the world doesn't reward honesty about pain, it rewards the appearance of being okay. So people learn to give the world what it wants, even when it's killing them inside. There are signs, small ones, easy to miss if you're not paying attention. The way someone's eyes go distant mid-conversation, like they're there but not really there. The way they say "I'm tired" more often than they used to, not just physically tired, a deeper kind, the kind that sleep doesn't fix, the way they deflect. You ask how they are and they immediately turn the question back to you, not because they care more about you, because they don't want to answer. The way they're always busy, always working, always moving. Never still, because stillness is where the thoughts live. The way they laugh a little too quickly at things that aren't that funny. The way their smile fades the moment they think no one's watching. The way they've stopped talking about the future, stopped making plans, stopped mentioning dreams or hopes or things they're excited about. These aren't dramatic signs. They're subtle, quiet, but they're there. And if you've ever felt secretly unhappy, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Because you've done these things too. You've learned to hide, to deflect, to keep moving so no one asks the hard questions. Have you noticed these signs in yourself? Or have you been too busy pretending to look? The mind is designed to protect you, and sometimes protection means hiding. When you're unhappy and you sense that expressing it might push people away, your brain makes a choice. It chooses belonging over honesty, because thousands of years ago, belonging meant survival. Being cast out meant death. And even though that's not true anymore, your brain still operates on that ancient wiring. So when you feel that your unhappiness might be too much for someone, your brain hides it. It creates a version of you that's easier to be around. That doesn't complain. That doesn't need too much. That keeps things light. And over time, this version becomes automatic. You're not consciously pretending anymore. You're just performing a script your brain wrote to keep you safe. But here's what your brain doesn't understand. Hiding your unhappiness doesn't make it go away. It just pushes it deeper. And the deeper it goes, the heavier it becomes. Until you're carrying a weight so massive you can barely breathe. But you're still smiling, still functioning, still telling everyone you're fine. Because your brain believes that's what survival looks like. But it's not survival, it's slow suffocation. And no one sees it, because you've become too good at hiding. Some people hide behind productivity. They work constantly. They fill every moment with tasks. They're always achieving, always doing, always moving forward, and everyone admires them, calls them dedicated, driven, successful, but what they're really doing is running from stillness, from silence, from the thoughts that surface when there's nothing left to do. Some people hide behind humor. They're the ones who make everyone laugh, who lighten every mood, who never let conversations get too serious. And everyone loves them, calls them fun, easy to be around, the life of the party, but humor is a shield, a way to deflect, a way to control the narrative so no one looks too closely. Some people hide behind helping others. They're always there, always supportive, always putting everyone else's needs first, and everyone depends on them, calls them selfless, caring, strong. But what they're really doing is avoiding themselves, because focusing on others means they don't have to face what's inside them. And some people hide behind nothing at all. They just smile, they nod, they say they're fine. And because society has taught us not to push, not to pry, not to make people uncomfortable, we believe them. We take the mask at face value, and the person underneath stays invisible. When you ignore unhappiness long enough, something changes. It's not that you suddenly break down, it's quieter than that. You start to feel numb, like you're going through the motions but nothing touches you anymore. Joy feels muted, excitement feels forced, connection feels distant. You're physically present but emotionally absent, and you don't even notice when it started. You stop caring about things that used to matter, not dramatically, just slowly. A gradual fading of interest, of passion, of energy. You feel tired all the time, not just in your body, in your mind, in your soul. The weight of pretending becomes so heavy that even rest doesn't help, because you're never truly resting. You're just pausing the performance. You start to forget who you actually are underneath the mask. The version of you that people see becomes the only version you know. And the real you, the one who's struggling, gets buried so deep you can't find them anymore. This is what happens when unhappiness is ignored. Not an explosion, an erosion, a slow, quiet disappearance of the self. Now I want you to think about something. When was the last time you asked yourself if you were truly happy? Not content, not okay, not fine, happy. And when was the last time you answered honestly, not with what you should feel, not with what you want to feel, not with what would make others comfortable, but with the truth? Maybe you've been telling yourself you're fine because you have no reason not to be. You have a job, friends, family, a roof over your head. Other people have it worse. So who are you to be unhappy? But happiness isn't logical. It doesn't care about your reasons. It doesn't follow rules. You can have everything and still feel empty. You can be surrounded by people and still feel alone. You can be functioning perfectly and still be struggling. And maybe, if you're honest with yourself, you've been secretly unhappy for longer than you want to admit. Maybe you've been waiting for it to pass, for things to get better, for the feeling to go away on its own, but it hasn't. Because unhappiness doesn't leave just because you ignore it. It stays, it grows, it waits, until you finally stop running and turn to face it. Here's what no one wants to say out loud. Most people are pretending, not everyone, but more than you think. The person who seems to have it all together, they might be one bad day away from falling apart. The person who's always positive, they might be terrified of what happens if they stop. The person who never complains, they might have just given up on being heard. We've built a world where pretending is rewarded and honesty is punished, where being fine is easier than being real, where asking for help is seen as weakness and struggling is seen as failure. So people hide, they perform, they protect themselves the only way they know how, by keeping the truth buried, and the worst part, it works. People respond better when you're easy, when you don't bring up hard things, when you keep the mood light. So you learn to be what people want, even when it costs you everything. This is the truth we don't talk about. That unhappiness is everywhere, hidden behind smiles and productivity and silence, and we all see it, but we all pretend we don't, because acknowledging it would mean acknowledging our own. The signs of hidden unhappiness are everywhere, in the people you pass, in the people you love, in yourself. Not loud, not obvious, just quiet and constant, and maybe recognizing them won't fix anything. Maybe it won't change what you feel or what others feel, but maybe it's enough to know you're not alone in it, that the mask you wear, others wear too, that the weight you carry, others carry too, and that being seen, even in silence, even without words, matters. If this video made you feel understood, let me know. Not with a long comment, just a word. Something simple that says, I felt this. And if you want more of this kind of truth, subscribe to Silent Psychology. This is where the quiet thoughts are given a voice. Silence reveals what words hide.